I'm an amateur 3D artist, and in this video, I'll be ripping off Daniel Kraft, apparently. Let me try that again. The various cogs in Toontown Online have always seemed like a strange case to me. No, that's Great Blue. Hey, hello, how do you do? Doggo here. That's Shady Do-Rags. Gosh, dang it! Okay, this is your second major video. You gotta think of some way to open it. You know what? How about I just kinda alter one of those openings and call it good? They can't expect every single video opening on YouTube to be unique. As long as it isn't a direct ripoff, I'm good. You got this, doggo. You got this, old boy. Come on, come on. Okay. Howdy doody, everyone. Doggo here. That's Wombo, son of a... Welcome back, everyone. This is a continuation of my cog redesign series. If you haven't seen the first episode, well, what are you doing? I spent like a month on that thing. Go watch it. In all seriousness, this is gonna be a much better experience if you go and watch the series in its intended order. As for this video, we'll be continuing on to redesign the next cog branch, the Cashbots. Cashbots, my beloved. I have a lot of love for some of the cogs here. One of my favorite cogs in general is in this branch, actually. The Loan Shark. Yeah, that's right. I grew up being one of those basic little boys that found sharks super cool. Sue me. Wait, don't actually sue me, please. I can't afford a court case. However, there are a couple of cogs here that I have particular feelings on. Don't worry. We'll get to those later. For now, I think we've done enough dilly-dallying. I'd say we ought to get into the designs. No more stalling, let's go! First cog, the short change. As I said in the first part, he's not really all that unique, being a less blue cold collar, which he shouldn't even be blue to begin with. Literally, in every piece of official art surrounding this man that I could find online, dude is green. You know, like the rest of the Cashbots? Green like that money, that moolah, that paper, dough, cheddar. I'm hungry now. Where was I? Oh yeah, cash! So obviously, we're gonna make him, well, some variation of green. Technically. As for his actual look, I may have taken a little bit of creative liberty here. I said before that I wanted to give them all unique head shapes. So with the short change, I definitely went with unique. I made his head an actual coin. I know it's a little goofy, but if Corporate Clash can give their bottom feeder a Muppet mouth, I can give my short change a Muppet mouth. Muppet mouth superiority! Yeah! Thanks for that, Elno. As for the actual reasoning I went this route, it's like I said in the last video. I want to bring a bit more zaniness to some of these designs to try and give them all unique silhouettes and head shapes if I can. Plus, I honestly think we need to add some more kinds of cogs that aren't just business people. I think there's so much more room for creativity if I don't limit myself in that way. Variety is the spice of life after all, and if you think I'm stupid for thinking that way, fair. But like, I'm still gonna do it though. So, next cog. Next up is the penny pincher. I don't know about you, but this guy just makes me kinda sad if I'm being honest. Looking at both his drawing on the cog height chart and all depictions of him from the trading cards, he was supposed to have large pincers for hands. Or should I say, pinchers.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Yeah, that's fair. Anyway, that's what he was supposed to have, and never got. I only briefly mentioned the fact that the core of each cog's design was their head in the last video. Allow me to elaborate on that for those who aren't in the know. Across all the different cogs, there are 3 specific body types that are shared and scaled to size depending on the cog: buff, skinny, and fat. Or suit A, suit B, and suit C if you really want to be pedantic about it. Who knew? The reason I bring this up is because this specific reuse of assets meant that swapping out the normal hands for a pair of pincers was probably too much trouble for the Toontown team to bother with for 2 out of the 32 cogs to try and figure out. The other cog that was supposed to have a unique hand shape was the Gladhander. As you can see here, he was depicted with much larger hands than normal. The difference between the Gladhander and the Penny Pincher, however, is that the Glandhander, let me just hand you my glands, the Glandhander, is that the Gladhander was still able to convey a design accurate to his namesake, even without the hands. He still had his smile, even if it was shared with 2 other cogs. Unfortunately for our dear Penny Pincher, nothing about his head indicates Penny nor Pincher. He was simply left to a fate of being nothing more than an angry red boy. Tragic. Truly. Luckily, we're here to set things right. I was trying to think about how to restore the crustacean aesthetic he had with his pinchers while not completely getting rid of the identity he already had. And I ended up coming up with a solution that I'm pretty dang happy with. I decided to bolster out his head shape a bit to give him a bit of lobster vibes. And then I'm gonna go ahead and give this man some hair in the form of a ponytail. But it's gonna look like a lobster tail instead. That's right. We're going full 18th century on you fools. What is up? What just happened? You know what? I'm just gonna move on. Next cog, the Tightwad. What can I say about the Tightwad? He's fat. Yeah, that about sums him up. The Tightwad falls into the category of cogs I find intensely uninteresting, if I'm being honest. So the question remains, how do we make him interesting while still maintaining a design accurate to the concept, see? Well, a tightwad is someone who hoards a bunch of money, see? But we can't give him accessories to store all that money in, no. We're just making a head here, see? I still want to keep the fat motif since he's a tight wad. So how would a fat guy keep all of his money on him? Wait. What if his money is the reason he's so fat? He's keeping the money on him! I'm a genius! So that's the direction we're gonna go with this guy. We're gonna make him super bloated and full of cash. We're gonna give this guy neck rolls with dollar bills and loose change just pouring out of every seam, like he's keeping all of his money under his synthetic robot skin. I think this is a far more interesting interpretation of the Tightwad, and I hope you all agree. Next cog. Hello, bean counter. If you all remember from the first episode, I have a bit of a gripe with the bean counter and his twin down in the boss bots. It just blows my mind that they could have easily distinguished the two by changing the color of the downsizer's head and just didn't. They did it with the cold color and the short change. Could they not have spared the effort to hue shift these guys as well? All right. I already ranted about my frustrations with the design quarter cutting plenty in the last video, so I'll spare you all a repeat. Instead, I'm gonna channel my anger to give this guy the unique identity he could have so very easily had. I'm gonna keep the base look of the head, but I'll be replacing that hat of his with a nice green visor. Next, I want to give him some glasses with a magnifying attachment to help him count his various beans. I'm gonna give him a cigarette to smoke so he can cope with the fact that since 2003, he was doomed to look exactly like a completely different cog and piss me off. And lastly, my favorite addition, I'm gonna give him a slot in his neck that's actively printing off a receipt. I figure a good way to add a bit of a robotic touch would be to add a built-in receipt printer that'll continue to keep track of every bean he counts. I mean, it is a little silly for a counting machine to use a completely separate counting machine to count. Right? Next cog. Ooh, the number cruncher. Much like her counterpart in the Cellbots, the number cruncher's design is perfectly suitable as is. Though I will say, it's not actually that easy to tell that she's a woman. No cartoony lipstick to indicate it like the other female cogs. Just some eyeshadow that can easily be mistaken for normal shading, and some earrings that are pretty missable if you're not paying attention. Otherwise, I have no real complaints. I mean, look at her. She got all those numbers to crunch. Let's see what kind of numbers we got here. We got a 3. We got a 6. We got a hell. This is hell. No. Don't. You don't know what you're messing with. Little Timmy, don't you dare! 6. No. Wait. Wait. 7. Children can be such a blessing and such an unbearable curse. Ignoring that little coincidence, I do really like what the number cruncher has going for it, but that doesn't mean we can't improve it. For one thing, we're gonna have our girl here show off her glorious chompers and have various bits of numbers sticking out of her teeth. I feel like it makes a bit more sense visually than just vicariously having numbers smeared on her face. We're gonna give her a nice little bit of lipstick as well. I also want to change up her hairstyle by giving her twin buns with little math symbol hair clips. Stick some pencils in her hair, give her math symbol earrings as well. All in all, I think these changes will definitely help her give her a lot more individuality away from just being a name dropper reskin. Next cog. Alright, let's see what's next on the list here. Short change, penny pincher, tightwad, bean counter, number cruncher, money money bags? Ooh, I hate this one. I hate the money bags. I hate them from the core of my being, I tells ya. I tells ya, I hate this one, I tells ya. But why do you hate him so much, Doggo? I'll tell you why. And why are you out of the dumpster? Because he sucks! Let me elaborate. The design of the money bags has always frustrated me. And I think that's because it's so completely unclear what the hell his design is even supposed to be. Did his head get squashed by a falling bag of money? Oh, my face. Is his head just meant to be the shape of a money bag that's upside down? It just genuinely makes zero sense. Well, at least he has a cool mustache. I can forgive a lot if you have a cool mustache. Oh wait, it's not a mustache, it's his mouth creases. I have been lied to for years. Now, when looking up reference material for his redesign, I stumbled across a Reddit post that explains what is most likely the intent of the TTO team. And while I'm sure the individual behind this post is perfectly fine and chill, my irrational anger toward this cartoon robot man compels me to read this in a very mocking tone. I pray you'll forgive me, Lagworks, whoever you may be, but this is what must be done.
I always see people misunderstanding the money bag's design and or writing it off as lazy. So I made a graphic that explains what the TTO team was most likely going for with it. Basically, his head is supposed to be the knot of the bag, not the bag itself, which also explains the wrinkles close to his neck.
Looking at the graphic made here, I can see it. It very well could be what was intended. And you know what I think? His design is even more stupid than I thought possible, and let me tell you why. Firstly, if this was the intent, it was executed so terribly. How the hell are you even supposed to surmise that by any means? Not to mention the one thing I've been saying about the core of the Cog's design since the first video. It always lies with the head. The main factor is always the head. The body is never a core factor in the design. It's merely a complement to it.
But what about the penny pincher and the glad hander? Weren't they supposed to have their hands swapped out? For those cogs, wasn't the body supposed to be a factor in their designs?
Well, it clearly couldn't have been that integral if they completely let that aspect fall to the wayside when implementing them into the actual game. Now could it?
I guess not.
Thank you. The Moneybags design is horrible and confusing, and that's a fact. Throw it in the trash. For this design, I'm gonna do what should have been done in the beginning when making a design for the Moneybags. Actually make him a frickin' money bag. Hallelujah! I know, it's such an original idea. Except for all the redesigns that do the same thing, but if you just ignore those, then it's fine. I do have a plan for my own twist on things, however. For his mouth and eyes, I'm gonna have those be parts of the bags that are ripped open, with visible money and coins on the inside of his head. And on top of it, I'm gonna have the top with the knot fold over to give the illusion of an aggressive expression, as well as making the knot spread out into a mustache because it is criminal that he looks like he has a mustache and just doesn't. Ah! Next, Cog. Phew. I think I got whatever that was out of my system. What's next? The loan shark? Oh, hell yeah. One of my favorites. And one of the only 2 animal cog designs in the game. And considering my roster of Cog OCs, it's pretty obvious I like cogs based on animals. I just think there's a lot of potential for them, in terms of design, personality, and all the like. Anyway, when searching for references and inspiration for my loan shark redesign, I came across this Reddit post where someone drew a bunch of different interpretations of the loan shark. Shout out to Reddit user, Selenia. Selenia? Selenia. Selenia? Anyway, I'm gonna be taking and more or less merging some of these ideas presented here for the shape of the head. As much as I love the look of the OG loan shark, that boy ain't right, especially in the trading cards, I typically love the style of these things, but the loan shark straight up looks like a dinosaur. I seriously have no idea how anyone at TTO Quality Control thought this looked like a shark in any capacity. It's a treasure of its time, I guess. So, I'm gonna refine its head shape, give it a defined fin, and give him some more detail with some visible gills, scar over both of his eyes, and a gold tooth. There's not really a whole lot more you can do with it. He's already a shark. I can't exactly reinvent that. Giving him a glow up like this should more than suffice. Last cog. Finally, we have the Robber Baron. He has a robber mask. He's tall and imposing like a baron. He certainly fits the bill. But at the same time, I'm sure there's something we can do to make him more interesting. Looking online, I see a lot of people leaning into the robber aesthetic for their interpretations of the character, making him a cowboy-era bandit and the like. They're definitely cool designs, but I never see anyone lean into the Baron half of his namesake. So, looks like I'll have to do just that. I decided to build off of his base design, give him a twirlier mustache, little Baron hat, and a big old ruff around his neck. It honestly works way better than I thought it would. A kind of simple way to end things off, but not a bad way by any means. There you have it. Another cog branch checked off the list. Checked off. I want to quickly give a huge shout out to my friend Mr. C Gaming for providing animation work in some of the sections of this video. Dude does some quality work on his own YouTube channel, and I highly recommend you checking it out. From here on out, things are gonna get a good bit tougher. With the Lawbots, I'm gonna be overly cautious when designing them, especially because I've been playing quite a bit of Corporate Clash in recent times, and I don't want to accidentally copy anything from them, or any other interpretation of the cogs. I really want my takes on the different characters to be one that's unique in some manner or another. Expression, color palette, shape, you name it. My goal with this series is to bring a breath of fresh air to a cast of characters that I adore, even if I adore some of them much less than others. And with the boss bots, I'll be tasked with coming up with fresh takes on some of the most iconic cogs in all of Toontown. If I mess it up, I'm not sure I'd ever be able to forgive myself. So hopefully those videos won't take too much longer to put out than the previous. But if they do, you'll know it's because I'm taking extra care to make sure that they're as good as I can possibly get them. Until the next video, farewell!